In Modern Warships, there's a battleship that should never have survived, let alone terrify modern vessels. But it doesn't care what anyone expects. It writes its own rules. Meet the resurrected Royal Navy legend, the Hood. At first glance, nothing seems different, like it never lay on the ocean floor at all. The same silhouette, the same proud presence shaped by Admiral Fisher's legacy. But after your first fight, it becomes obvious. This isn't a museum piece you have to treat with extra care. It's a heavily modernized combat platform, fully capable of winning in the modern meta, provided the commander knows what they're doing. Let's break it down. Historically, the Hood was a fast heavyweight, right up until the tragedy in the Denmark Strait. Back from oblivion, it kept its personality. Its acceleration is snappy, and its top speed is high enough that you won't be late to anything that matters. And if someone tries to slip away without saying goodbye, good. The hunt only gets more interesting. If battleship still means slow and sleepy to you, the Hood will crush that stereotype. Wide flanks, long-range duels, constant pressure, that's its natural habitat. It doesn't wait. It moves while it lives, and it lives while it moves. And it doesn't give up firepower to do it. 8 380mm cannons are a permanent headache for anything that dares stand against them. Even if the target doesn't sink instantly, a 114,000 damage salvo can't be ignored. And with a reload of roughly 8 seconds, the pressure never lets up. The 133mm secondaries complete the picture. For destroyers and frigates, closing the distance with the Hood is a crime, and punishment is guaranteed. A full-health battleship duel will still be a serious test. The Hood doesn't hand out free wins, but it gives you the tools to take that fight and come out on top. The double missile slot complements the cannons perfectly. The stock scalps land precise long-range hits. This isn't spam ammo. It's a scalpel to reinforce your main battery at the right moment. If you want, you can swap them for something like the X-51, and the strike becomes nastier thanks to higher damage and tougher missiles. But you'll pay for it in tempo. The drop in rate of fire is real. That's why the base scalps are the most balanced choice. They help make up for the lower burst compared to certain competitors. The biggest difference between the in-game Hood and its historical ancestor, and frankly, many of its peers, is its absurdly strong air defense. You get 8 mounts for modern AA modules, and that's where things get really interesting. 2 slots are taken by Dragonfire BH lasers, an enhanced version of an Epic module. Their high accuracy, range, rate of fire, and fast reaction times make them the core of your protection against aircraft and missiles. The remaining slots are yours to tailor, but even the baseline package is impressive. The close range is covered by 5 CRAM launchers, letting you survive even a concentrated strike. If that still isn't enough, the automated Bofors 40 L60 removes any remaining doubt. This British take on the Swedish Quad AA cannon uses airburst rounds and shreds basically anything that gets too close. Long-range coverage comes from the CAM system, with extended intercept range and high efficiency. It's strong even by itself, better than many counterparts like the Russian Garpoon. And paired with the lasers, it turns the Hood's AA into a fortress. And if the threat doesn't come from above, but from below, it still won't have an easy time. 3 ASROC grenade launchers give you a universal answer to submarines, surface ships, and even torpedoes, if your reactions are sharp. You can mount a different module, but one thing won't change. Unlike AA, this is manual aim. In a close fight, you might simply not have the time. Your attention will be eaten by cannons and missiles. This is a real skill check, and it's worth preparing for. Same story with the Comanche helicopter. It's not your main damage source. It's a tool for scouting, finishing damaged targets, and keeping awareness of the battlefield. Using it reduces the risk of a surprise hit, but it also costs time and focus, resources you'll already be spending heavily while driving this British giant. Be ready to prioritize. The Hood isn't the easiest battleship in Modern Warships, but it's one of the most versatile vessels out there. It's a ship for commanders who understand that victory isn't about armor thickness. It's about making fewer mistakes. History gave the Hood one chance. In our game, it got a second. And it's up to you what you do with it. See you at sea.